You think crypto's risky? Try smoking with Fit for an Autopsy in a parking lot at 1 a.m. in the middle of the ghettos of Detroit, at a venue that's notorious for at least one person every night. I battled mosh pits, I played punchy face every day for over a year, partied with celebrity fighters, walked through some of the country's most sketchiest ghettos just because I love tacos. I live the kind of life where you have to learn fast, trust your gut, read the room, keep your head level at all times, never flinch when chaos hits. Because let's face it, that's when you need a level head more than anything. You gotta detect certain threats, or even more importantly, you gotta make sure that you don't miss out on certain opportunities, or else they'll slip by you unnoticed. Crypto is a contact sport for the degenerates who laugh when the charts crash harder than a failed Warp Tour stage dive. Let's talk about having front row tickets to life's madness and how it made me bulletproof in a market that frequently eats normies alive. My name's Terry, and this is the fourth video in this series. We're going to go ahead and talk about some fun stuff today. So we're just going to kind of like jump into it. Went to a lot of concerts. I'm a big metalhead. I always been a metalhead. I like a lot of other music, like not into country at all, but like I can get into anything for the most part, as long as it's not country. But I traveled, did a lot of concerts. I was huge into concerts for a while. So like I said, being a metalhead, uh, Ozfest was kind of like the biggest thing at the time. I went from, I want to say, 1999 until 2007. I want to say, I went to like 7 or 8 shows in a row at least. I was very fortunate in the fact that a family member knew a person that worked at the front desk at the ticket booth, and they essentially they would sell like year-round passes. Like if you had big money, you could go ahead and buy like year-round pass, and you get tickets for like every show. Well, she like knew the people that had this big money that had their year-round passes, and she would ask them essentially, are you going to go to this show? Are you going to go to that show? And if they didn't, then essentially I could get their tickets. All right, so for like 8 years, I basically went to Ozfest like VIP, like literally like driving like a shitty Buick LeSabre. I had a Buick LeSabre at the time, and we were parking with like limousines and tour buses, and like people would like yell at us and think we're like somebody, but we were just lucky, I guess, is what it came down to. We always had like, I think the worst tickets I ever had were probably like 6th or 7th row. Had plenty of like front row shows, and I could go through. I'll go through maybe 1 or 2 Ozfest stories. I'm not gonna go through too many. Crazy Town one was funny. Anyway, so went to a lot of Ozfest. If you aren't aware, like there's a couple different stages. Usually there's like gonna be like 1 or 2 stages that are just like people run around, do whatever the fuck they want, go where. Man, I can't say that, can I? Do whatever they want, go wherever they want. Like it's just an open area. And then there's another stage that actually has like all the seating. And that's usually like the later part of the day is where all the seating ones are. So like it was nice to go ahead and sit down after running around all the time. We had this tradition, and what we would do. I'm gonna go just do the tradition part, at least a couple cool ones. What we would do is, since we were close to the front row, is we would heckle the bands, like even if we liked them. The first time I ever did it was with Pantera, and like Phil Anselmo was up there and he's singing and whatnot, and I'd be like, play me some Hanson, Phil. Like I'd call him names and stuff, and the whole time he was getting pissed. He was taking his mic when he was talking, he was smashing it off his head, and blood dripping down and everything, and like he stopped mid set and looked at me, and he's like, I own you, and like started screaming at me and stuff. So that's essentially where the tradition started. Like we stopped a band, like every year we stopped a band in mid set. At the end of it, like I really kind of like one of my regrets, like I don't even have a lot of this stuff anymore. I lost all my concert stuff for the most part, but Dimebag took a drum top. What was it? Not Dimebag, geez. Who's it? Rex? Who's the drummer? I can't remember, but he took the drum top off and he threw it at my head, and I ducked. Stupidly, I ducked, and the person behind me got it. When in all reality, I should have absorbed it. Like I should have took it, because that would have been an awesome thing to have. I had some picks and a bunch of stuff from Pantera. They were a good show, but I could go on and on about concerts as far as who puts on good shows. But that was kind of like our tradition. Every year we would go and stop. We would stop a band like in their thing. And the one year we had front row, and I had a couple friends that came with me. And Crazy Town, like every Ozfest would always do like this thing where they would go ahead and put like a headliner like mainstream band, like you know what I mean, in with them. And that's generally who we try to like target most of the time. The first time it was just drunk spontaneousness, where after I started doing this, it was like, okay, this is like a goal, you know what I mean? So Crazy Town was playing, and we were uh, we were heckling them, we were messing with them, and my friend pissed off the guitarist enough to where he opened a beer and whipped it at my friend's head. Like he opened it, took one drink, whipped it at my friend's head. My friend, got beaten in the head with a beer, picked it up, took a drink, and then whipped it back at him. And we had security like all over us. Like security was on us really quick. And the lead singer from Seven Dust was sitting beside us, like we were like at a row like that. So there's like the walkway. He was sitting over here, and he stood up for us. He came over. He's like, no, no, no. He's like, leave them alone. He's like, those assholes threw it at them, type of thing, and stood up for us. So like, the lead singer of Seven Dust got us, kept us from getting kicked out that year, which was kind of cool. Let's see. I don't know. I could go on and on about concerts. Like I don't know. I brought my first concert my kids ever went to was like Warped Tour. I want to say it was Cattle Decapitation was her first mosh pit that she kind of got to experience. Like wasn't like in it so much, but might as well go back to the intro. Mind you, none of this is like any kind of advice. Like don't do the stuff I do. Like it's probably not a good idea. Like I'm just giving you my stories, telling you a little insight of my life, and hopefully you learn lessons from it, type of thing. So it was like 2018, 2019, and we went down to Harpo's in Detroit, and it was let's see, I'm trying to remember who it was. It was Fit for an Autopsy, Obituary, Hatebreed, and someone else. I can't remember. So we actually talked to the guys from Fit for an Autopsy. And if you ever if you know of Harpo's, like Harpo's is like a really hardcore, like grungy venue, but it's in the middle. It's like in the ghettos of Detroit. For the longest time, they used to have um, I wouldn't say like a tradition. It's just what happened. Like someone lost their something very important to them every day there. Like that shit got wild. You know what I mean? So we're we're in the ghettos of Detroit, and we talked to the dudes from Fit for an Autopsy, and we're like, hey, why don't you come back out and smoke with us really quick? And they come back out. Like we sat there for like probably an hour after the show in an empty parking lot in the ghetto, waiting for them. Just like we had like a um I can't really like say certain words. I don't think we had a utensil that we used with Shattery Lassie stuff. Um, and we were just sitting out there doing our thing, and we like hung out with them and like from like I don't know, probably 1 to 2, just like sitting around smoking in a parking lot in the ghetto. Um, let's see. I don't know. I probably can go on and on about concerts. I'll give you a tip. How about this? We'll give you a good tip. If you're at a concert and it's like an open thing, like I was saying at Ozfest, like say it's just a big parking lot, there's two different ways that I've found to go ahead and get down to the front row. Because I like to get right up against the cage, like right against the rail, so I'm by the stage. One is like the normal way that I would do is you go ahead and you take off to the side of the show and you go down the side all the way to the front because no one really cares. They're on the side. And once you get to the front, you just go ahead and cross, through the front part. Just tell people, I got a friend over here. I left my friend over here. I got to meet my friend, whatever. And you push your way that way, find a nice spot, like maybe you meet a girl or something and be like, hey, and squeeze in. All right. So that's the one way to get to the front. And it works pretty much anywhere every time. One time at an Ozfest, it was by far like my coolest time, like getting to the front of a show. They sell big cups of adult beverages, So everybody, has been drinking stuff all day. There was me, my woman, a friend, and his woman. And we literally like hand on shoulders type of thing, you know what I mean? That way like no one's breaking us, we're staying together. And I took my beverage and I just held it up and I was like, hot coffee coming through. Get the hell out of my way. You're gonna get burnt. Hot coffee, you know what I mean? And I cut through everything. Like I went through mosh pits. People stopped in mosh pits because they thought I had hot coffee. So like just screamed hot coffee and essentially cut right through the whole crowd and got up to the front. Um, Not sure if that'll ever work again. It was funny as hell though. I liked it. Let's see. Besides concerts, I don't know. Traveled, went through a lot of different places. Lots of places in Florida, Biloxi, Mississippi, Philadelphia, New Orleans, Vegas, different places in Kentucky and Tennessee. Like I've traveled around a lot. For a while when I was making good money, it was just kind of like my thing. Like I don't know. We went. I actually see. I traveled around a lot with a crazy ex girlfriend that I'm gonna go ahead and get to here in a while. We won't say names or anything, but we were in Miami and it was one of the couple places that she left in the middle of the thing. We had a good time. We were running around. We were actually gonna go. We met this dude in a bar and we're like going to go on an airboat. And dude on an airboat was like he didn't do it for like business. He wasn't like charging us. Like this is his hobby. Like what he does. And I was like, bro, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, let's go on an airboat. I'm like, you got to get me on a gator though. Like, I need to get myself a little gator. I'm like, I don't care if it's just a baby gator, but I got to catch it and I got to kiss it. So bro promised me that I can catch a gator and kiss it. And she had his number. We got in a fight. She took off on an early flight and I never met up with bro. So I got two bucket list things I really want to do. One is to, of course, catch a gator and kiss it. And the next one actually came along when I was in New Orleans, which I'll get to in a second. Anyway, Miami, like had a good time partying, like little Cuba, like she left and everything. Oh actually, no, oh my god. Well, that's gonna be a story for the crazy women video, or exes video type of thing. I wouldn't say crazy. They go, no, they were there technically, one of them on paper. But anyway, uh, so anyway, the other bucket list thing. When I was in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, I was there for like a week for Mardi Gras. And if you know, like Mardi Gras lasts like 2 weeks, but I was like last week. I have like certain ways that I go about finding places. Like when I go to a new location, like I'll call an Uber, get an Uber, like from the airport, and I'll ask them. I'll be like, if you can go anywhere and eat tonight, where would you go? Like, where would you want to go eat tonight if you can go anywhere in town? And I get like recommendation from them, and usually that'd be like the first place I go and eat. And then when I get there, I might like talk to my waitress, talk to the hostess, be like, where would you go for drinks? Where would you go if you wanted to go out and party like tonight? Where would you go hang out? And then I find that out, and then I go there, and what I do is I just talk to people. I just like chill and talk to people and find out like all the local spots. So like that's a good travel tip for you if you like to do that kind of stuff. Like I like to find little hole in the wall things. I hardly ever go to like any like chain restaurants. Like in New Orleans, like the Walk On was good. The Walk On was the first place I actually went. Um, there was good though. Like they had good food. Like I think I went there 2 3 times because man, well, it was that it was some kind of etouffee they had. It was fucking really good. But anyway, so like when I go to a place, I would go ahead and do that. Well, along the journey of going to various bars and such, I had a bartender, and she's like, "You got to go to this other bar, and it's like kind of like a secret whatever in the back that you like have to go to this bookcase and like open or whatever to get in the back, and it's a vampire bar." And I'm like, "All right, it's on." I'm like, "Let's go to this vampire bar." And I was with my uncle at the time, and he's not as adventurous as I am, but I told him, I'm like, we're gonna go to this vampire bar. He's like, "All right, cool," and I'm like, when I tell you that it's time to go, I want you to leave and go to the right. When you get out, go right and start walking down the way. I'll catch up with you. And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, just go that way. Like just listen, just go that way. And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because I'm gonna bite a vampire." And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm gonna see how they fucking like it. I'm gonna bite a vampire. And long story short, he didn't want to go to the vampire bar with me anymore. So I never made it to the vampire bar. So I got to kiss a gator and bite a vampire still. Those are kind of I've done a lot of shit in my life, and those are my bucket things right now. Is kiss a gator and yeah, bite a vampire. So um, let's see what else I'll do. Like I'm gonna get into like fight stuff here in a minute, and the fight stuff I did a lot of traveling for too. Like Philadelphia, I did like the Rocky Stairs, traveled around there. I had one had one day because that was another. I was staying in a really nice place like by this. I can't remember the name of the market. It's like a really famous market in Philadelphia. If you know, you know type of thing. You'll know what I'm talking about. But I was staying at the hotel there, right across the street from it, and it's by Chinatown. And uh, we broke up. Like, well, didn't break up. She left. You know what I mean? This is actually my birthday. Um, she left early, like 2 days early, and I was like, you know, whatever. I'm gonna like go do me. So I was walking. I walked towards the water, like the water that separates like Philadelphia from New Jersey or whatever the hell it is. Um, but so I'm in Philly, and I walked all the way down there, and I like picked up like a couple, like I you got a Philly steak, you know. I mean, one of the places was a long way, it was the top one, so I stopped there. I go up to the lake, you know. There's like a really cool like park, and it had a bunch of hammocks and like lights coming off the trees, and there's like a fence where they got lock pads and stuff on it, and then there's like a Hilton or something right there. So I'm walking down there, and I'm like hanging out in these hammocks and just, you know, living my best life, doing my thing. And I get a notification on my phone that my plane tickets were canceled. And I'm like, because mind you, she paid for these because this was like for my birthday. And well, she didn't, but her husband did. We'll talk about that later. Um, but anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, my flight got canceled. Like, what the hell, you know? So I'm like calling up, and I'm like calling Delta, like, what's up, type of thing. And they're like, you know, someone called and canceled. Like, they had your, you know, thing, so they canceled. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, okay, no worries. I know exactly who did that. So I'm like, you know, whatever. I'm hanging out in, you know, Philly for a couple days. I got a couple days yet. I left there, and I actually went and walked. Like, there was a shooting there when I was there, and like everyone was freaking out. They're like, you know, be safe, this and that, you know, shit going down, like a standoff or whatever. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, that's like a mile like north of me. Like, I'm okay, you know. So I went and like I brought my phone, like one of my things I'll do too, because I got nothing better to do. I'll go ahead and bring like bars near me. And I brought up like 13, 15 bars. Oh, I got a really funny video of this too. Like it's probably, I don't know, maybe I might add pictures and videos of these things. I don't know. Anyway, I'm like, I hit every bar going through I was walking through the ghettos of Philly, like in some shady places, but I was going into like all these dive bars. I like dive bars. I don't like fancy shit. I like dive bars. But anyway, so I'm going like through all these bars in Philly, and I'm having a Long Island iced tea at every bar. So mind you, like 10, 13 Long Islands deep, and I'm like live streaming and doing my thing, and like everyone's freaking out because I'm like walking through like shitty places. But like really, what it comes down to, like I've never had a problem. I've walked through like crazy, crazy places, never had a problem, and it comes down to just being good, being genuine. Like, you know, you don't show fear for one because, well, fear is pointless. Um, I think all the junk I've been through in my life, like I don't know, I lack fear, which is probably not a good thing. I probably would have probably wouldn't have gotten as much trouble if I did. But yeah, I don't know, I lack fear. You just respect people, be a good person. You know what I mean? Be genuine, whatever, and just don't respect people. You know what I mean? Keep your head up. Don't look like a target. Like, you know what I mean? Be ready to go ahead and fight if you need to, but just yeah, you know, just don't be a target. Be cool. So I was like walking there, like, you know, doing like the live stream thing and talking, and then I got into the hotel, and I'm like, for whatever reason, because I was training at the time and working out a lot, I'm like, I'm gonna run up the escalator backwards, it's like infinity stairs, and I was doing this on a live stream, and I don't even remember it. I want to say I have the recording somewhere, but I was running up the escalator backwards, so I'm like just live streaming, and apparently I took a digger, like I went down, but I bounced right back up. I got up the infinity stairs, running like a two-story escalator backwards. Surprised no one stopped me. Like Because they sure as hell did. And I was in Biloxi in a casino. I was doing that. Like I was running up the stairs, and I had my backpack. And I was with my friend, and I'm like escalator, like infinity stairs, and I'm like running them up backwards, like and security stopped me, and they're like, you can't be doing that, blah blah blah, and they like wanted to search my bag. They wanted to take my bag. They're like, you can't have a bag in here, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, I'm like it's my bag, it's staying with me. And they're like, no, you can't, you're not supposed to have it in here. I'm like, well, guess what? I'm here. Like, if you're gonna, it goes, I go, type of thing. And I'm like, and he's like, well, can we look in it? I'm like, sure, you can look in it. So I let him look in it and everything, and like he let me go. Everything was cool. I still carried my bag around, but um, yeah, I don't know, fucking what else is some good stuff here. Um, Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras was fun. That was another like ghetto ass thing I went and did. Like, I mean, I went to Mardi Gras. I was actually I got footage. It's over in Mobile, Alabama. I want to say is where Mardi Gras originated, and it's like the original Mardi Gras. And I was on a float there. That was fun times. I drank that night. I drank almost a fifth of like I was given a thing of Everclear. Okay, like the 150 Everclear that was like had like that much out the top of it. Like it was like three quarters of a fifth. I drank that whole thing during that parade. Like we just sat there. Like when we started out with the float. The float was like packed up, like so much stuff in it. There was nowhere to stand, and we were just like stuffed animals, moon pies, stuff like that. And we're whipping them out, whipping them out. I'm just sitting there drinking, and like we got a big ass system on there, so we're just like we're jamming, throwing stuff. I got videos of all this stuff too. Maybe I'll throw some of this stuff on there, but um, so like we're drinking, so we hanging out, we doing this thing, and we doing the parade. We get done with the parade, and I'm like finishing this bottle of 151, and bro, like that was driving the truck for the parade. Afterwards, he like I'm like, bro, I'm like, hit this. I'm like, you haven't been able to drink this whole time. I'm like, hit this, right? And he's like, nah, nah, nah. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, you puss. I'm like, you puss. I'm like, I've drank the rest of that. I drink all that. I'm like, you can't even take a drink. I'm like you pansy. I'm like, what the hell? Like this dude's like a 6'5" big guy. Like, and he's like, whatever, blah blah. He grabs it from me and he takes like a big ass pull off it, and he gives it back. And he he opened up. He went to go and open up the vehicle door to get in the passenger seat and just started throwing up everywhere. He's like, Derek, get your crazy ass white boy cousin away from me. It made him just like throw up everywhere. It was funny as hell. Um, but yeah, we did the Mardi Gras thing, like walked around like afterwards. Like I got footage of Mardi Gras, like after Mardi Gras, like after like in the main part in New Orleans, like because we were like a block away from like the parade route, like and I got footage of, like all the crazy after Mardi Gras things. People are freaking out about that too. They're like, you can't be down in NOLA doing that shit. Like, you're gonna go ahead and get stabbed. Those little kids will stab you and whatever. But like, it's just they're people that need shit, dude. They're just like they're digging through trash or doing whatever. So like, I gave the kids a bunch of beads and all this other shit. Just being cool with people. And like everybody freaking out, like you're gonna get killed. Never had a problem. But yeah, that was fun. Like in all these different places, like I walked through like I don't mind going to the shitty places because like I said, I like dive bars. Dive bars are gonna be there. Like if I want to go and get those like hole in the wall taco places or something, or like some Cuban food or like whatever I'm gonna get, like you gotta go in. You gotta go deep. You can't just like you're gonna find the mainstream stuff. You don't want that. You want like you want like somebody's grandma and grandpa making you food, or at least someone that learned from the grandma and grandpa. Uh, I don't know. Had a hell of a good time in Vegas. Ended up going there for. I've only been there once. I want to go back again. Done New Orleans a couple times. Um, Vegas. Ended up going there. Me and this girl, and I'm like, all right, let's go to Vegas. And like, I want to say that we split the cost on the first part. We go there. We're going there for like, 6 days, 5 nights. We get there. We party. We have a good time. Like, we met one of my friends that was down there for the slap fighting thing. He was doing a slap fighting thing. I'm not sure if it's still going on. It was a thing for a minute, but he was down there for the slap fighting. So we met up with him. We hung out, partied. Um, Stuff I probably really can't share on here as much. Yeah, no stuff I probably shouldn't share in here. But we went and partied and everything, and then we go and get ready to leave. And we were staying down on the strip. We were staying at Paris, I believe. Yeah, it's just by Bellagio, across from Bellagio. But anyway, we was down on the strip, and uh, we actually, you know what? This is before we even left. The girl I was with, like I like to do April Fool's pranks usually, um, when possible, and I like to do them like on Facebook and shit, like open. So we were there, and it was April Fools, and I'm like, all right, like we're gonna go and get like we're gonna do a fake proposal, like we're gonna do a fake proposal. We're gonna freak everybody out because like me and her were together for like 4 months or something. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna do a fake proposal, and we're walking through these casinos, and there's the one I can't remember what it is, but they got like the love sign that's from Chicago. The big love sign from Chicago. It's like a miniature, but it's in this casino, and we we like we're hitting up people. We're like, can we borrow your ring and can you take a picture for us? Like, we're trying to like strangers. Like, we're just like, yeah, just give us your expensive ass wedding ring and like take a picture for us. Like, you'll have our phone. You know what I mean? We'll get back. We couldn't get no one to do that though, which in retrospect, like completely understand. I mean, I sure as hell wouldn't give someone something like that. So when we end up getting, we go to a store. We bought like a little ring for like $2-3, and we was on Fremont Street, and we were partying on Fremont. And if you know, like Fremont's got like a couple different stages, and we were way down on the one side of the one stages, and there was like hundreds of people around, and we did a fake proposal. We met this dude that was actually he was a swinger, and he was there with some other couple. We just ran into him somehow again, like crazy odds, and I'm like, bro, record this, and he recorded it, and I did like a fake proposal in like the middle of a thing. Like she just was out there dancing, like everybody's dancing. There's hundreds of people dancing, and I go in out there and I whatever got on a knee and I did a proposal, and like everybody flips out, like everyone's cheering and tripping out and everything, and like we're doing this Facebook Live, you know what I mean? So we do that. We end the Facebook Live, and then I turn around and I tell all the people, like, I so should have went with it. This is one of my regrets of the whole situation. Like, I so should have went with it because people are like, let me buy you drinks. Let us get you this. Like, people are wanting to, like, give us, like, bring us out to dinner and all kinds of crazy shit. And I just had to tell them all, I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I appreciate your enthusiasm. It's all a prank. You know what I mean? So I had to tell all these people that are, like, trying to buy us drinks and all this other shit for, like, it's just a prank. For like 2 years. I kept on getting people like they'd hit me up on Facebook like I thought you were with this other girl type of thing, and like I thought you were married to her. I'm like no. I'm like geez, I had to explain forever until like I think last year we did a fake pregnancy, me and the girl I was with, so they at least stopped talking about the marriage. Um, let's see. Oh, the second so we was down in Vegas and we did our first tour there, our first like 5 days, 6 days, 5 nights, and hanging out with our friend down there that from Michigan that was down there for a fight, and we go, we have a really rough night. Like we had party favors that we needed to get rid of, so we did, and then we like no sleep, nothing. We got to go get on an airplane at 6 a.m. in the morning. So we go there and we're sitting there waiting for the Spirit flight. Like we're just like sitting there waiting and delayed, and we're waiting and delayed, and we're waiting, and it gets canceled. So everybody's freaking out. Everyone's pissed. You know what I mean? They went on strike, is what it was. Spirit went on strike. So everyone's pissed, and like all the other airlines are booked up and everything too. We end up staying at El Cortez. It was awesome. I like the El Cortez, but we end up staying at a hotel there. We got a hotel there, which is really nice because like kid free. You got to wear bracelets and stuff. Like we just had them put them on loose. So we could take them on, them off, give them to someone else if we wanted to go ahead and bring them up to the room type of thing. But you gotta have bracelets, so it's like no non-guests and no kids allowed. Period. So we hung out there and did a lot of partying on like Fremont. We walked around to all kinds of different places, like everywhere, like deep in the shitty neighborhoods of Vegas for like good Argentinian food and stuff like that. And one night we we're on Fremont, and we going like if you're going away from the Fremont experience, like the old downtown, and you go the other way, like it was about a mile and a half. Like we was walking in the ghettos, like we was walking in the ghettos. We met some cool ass people though, but we walking in the ghettos, and we get to this like taco truck because I'm like trying to find this taco truck because they like got lingua and they got trepa and all that other stuff. Like if you don't know, it's like like intestines and brain and like face and well no, we couldn't find brain. That's right. We went to like 5 or 6 taco places, couldn't get brain, but like intestines and like tongue. That's what it is, lingua. I believe, but don't quote me on that. I suck at Spanish. I'm really good at butchering it, and I know enough to get myself in trouble. But so we went like a mile and a half into like a shitty part of Vegas, and we got the most awesome tacos I ever had. Like, I will not like this is what everything else compare against. You know what I mean? Like, if I go ahead and have tacos, like that's what you get in fucking. That's what you're putting up against right there. Is these two little Spanish ladies in the middle of a ghetto in a parking lot with like a food truck and slinging tacos for like $1, $2 a piece tops. And the whole time you'd be like, "What lingua?" They're like, "Beef. It's beef." It's like, "What's trepa?" Beef. It's like, "No, lady. Like, I want to know what I'm eating," type of thing. But awesome, awesome, awesome tacos. Like, walk back with sketch. We had a couple people like roll up on us slow and shit. But like with the girl I was with, I just told her like, keep your head forward, keep walking straight. Keep doing our thing. If they do get out their car, don't stop. You keep walking. I'll take care of shit, type of thing. But yeah, no, everything went good. Everything went good. We got back, partied, partied, went everywhere. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of travel stuff. I guess we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic. It kind of sucks interviewing myself in a way. I've been talking for like 2 hours straight. So I don't know. I've always been kind of like like part of the local fight people. You know what I mean? Like as far as like the local fight scene. We had a show up here that was, would always have shows around here, and I went to quite a few of them, especially at the time since I had a business. I was like, I was buying corner pads and stuff like that, doing a little advertising through them. I'd get some tickets here and there, stuff like that. Um, and I just kind of like I got in with everybody. Like, I was for a while there when it came to like the fight scene in my state. Like, I went wherever I want. I just did whatever I want. I walked in. I didn't pay for nothing. I never paid for anything. Like, I think I bought tickets the last time that I was here, and I bought like general admission, and I just sat ringside because like I know everybody, so I just sit where I want, type of thing. Um, but I ended up dating this semi-famous fighter essentially, and she was well known. She was a cut woman, and like she knew people. She's crazy, but she knew people. So I was going around to a lot of different stuff with her. Like she kind of got me into things outside of Michigan. For a while, from I want to say like BKFC, which is Bare Knuckle Fight Championship. Dave Feldman and them. They actually got bought out by Chiller and Conor McGregor and stuff now as part of it. But BKFC, I want to say it was like 3 through 8 or something like that. I went to. Um, yeah, I don't know. I was doing really good for a while. I was really big in the fight scene for a minute. Um, I would go to these events and I knew everybody. Like I knew the promotion and like everybody would be wearing lanyards. Like everybody would have their like credentials and stuff. And I just walked around. I did whatever I want. Like no one stopped me. I'd walk past security. Like I owned the place. Like that's how you do it. This is like a key to your life too. Like if you want to get respect. We're doing a little segue here because I actually don't agree with how I worded this completely. Like there's a lot of context to it as far as like me knowing all these people, and it's because of being respected and being respectful at the same time. And I wanted to go ahead and actually break this down and give you the formula to go ahead and be respected. Where with this it was very conditional, but because of all these things, you are able to get away with a little bit more, especially with the circumstances if you are able to go ahead and like be around people that you know. But how to get respect? Okay, first off, respect yourself. You gotta definitely respect yourself. Good hygiene, shower, brush your teeth, shit like that. Work out. You know what I mean? Take care of your body. Don't eat a bunch of trash food. Like eat. eat good food, eat healthy food. You know what I mean? Respect yourself, take care of yourself. Um, Respect others. You know what I mean? Everybody gets respect from me right out the gate until they prove not, that they shouldn't. You know what I mean? I always respect people. Everybody has their own thing that they're doing. Like we don't know anything about people. A lot of these people you meet. You know what I mean? So you be respectful all the time, and it gets you a lot. Get you places just because you will meet a lot of people that normally you probably never would have. Don't be an asshole. Don't be a jerk to anyone. Don't go ahead and you know cause a scene. Don't go ahead and you know just don't be a jerk. Be nice to people. Give people respect. Don't have an ego. You know what I mean? Don't go ahead and like when you have an ego and you think you're the top shit and everything else, and it kind of like gives off a bad vibe. You know what I mean? Like just get rid of your ego. Like everybody's everybody. Like everybody bleeds red. It doesn't matter. It's no one's better than anybody else type of thing. It's just how you have to think of the world. That's gonna help you a lot. And lastly, take accountability. You know what I mean? Take accountability for your actions. Like in the case of above, say someone did stop me, just take accountability. Like, okay, yeah, no, I'm walking around, I'm here with whoever, blah blah blah. Say the truth. Don't lie. Lying doesn't get you no respect. No one respects a liar. Be honest. I guess that kind of goes along with the whole respecting others, because if you respect someone, you wouldn't lie to them. But yeah, so I just want to break that down really quick. This is how you actually get respect. Back to the story, but yeah, take everything with a grain of salt. Make it look like you deserve it. Like, what I mean? If you want to get treated different, act like you own the place. You know what I mean? Act like you are top shit. Don't be an asshole, but do what you want. Don't ask. If you get stopped, then just say something. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things like, do first, apologize later. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of times, like, if you're not hurting no one, you're not taking anything away from no one, you're not, like, affecting no one else negatively, there's a lot of times they're just going to let you go. Like, I mean, it's a gutsy thing to do, I guess. I don't know. It's just how I am. Like, it's just how I am. So I can't say that, it's something good to go and do. Like, you don't want to get in trouble, but, like, I think most they would do is say, like, no. But, I don't know. I did whatever. Like, I was just walking around like I own the place. Yeah, I went to a lot of different, like, I don't know, you can probably see it. I can kind of see it in the shadow of that there. Like, big banners and stuff. Let me see. Like, I got all kinds of some different fight stuff and whatnot. But, like, I don't know. I ended up hanging out with, like, a lot of cool people, like, Rumble Johnson, RIP, Chris Liddell, um, Felony, Crazy Horse, whatever you want to call me. I don't like to be called Crazy Horse, but, like, Johnny Bennett, like, I had, Tom Show, like, fucking, who else? There was a lot of different people that I went and hung out with that I just, like, party with. And I'll try to, like, when I go ahead and tell stories, I will not include their names just out of respect and whatnot. Yeah, I did a lot of that. Did a lot of backstage stuff. Actually, I'll go ahead and I'll tell the Rumble story just because. First time I met Rumble is we were sitting there, and it was after the show, and we all sitting ringside just hanging out, and, like, the different fighters are, like, getting their checks and stuff. And he's talking about, I mean, it's no secret, like, everybody knows this stuff, so it should be fine to share. Like, he was talking about, like, man, I need to go back to my hotel room, and I need to smoke. You know what I mean? Because he, like, went through, like, TSA with a bong and everything. It was crazy. Like, just because I guess when you're someone like that, you just get away with shit even more. But he's like, I go smoke. So, like, how I met Rumble is, like, when I traveled, I would bring the vape kind, you know what I mean, like the pens. I'd bring those with me. Like, I just bring them through the airport, smoke wherever, you know what I mean. And I'm like, hey bro, I'm like, you want to hit this type of thing? And that's how me and Rumble, like, that's how we first met. He sat there and we smoked together and hung out. Like, I got a picture of him. I didn't take pictures of a lot of people. Like, a lot of the pictures I do have are other people taking them of us. I don't want to be like, I'm not a fanboy type person. I'm not like, everybody bleeds red. You know what I mean? Like, you're no different than someone that's famous, and they're no different than the president and whatever. Like, we are all people. We all bleed red. We all the same. Like, I don't care your skin color, nothing. You're a person. I don't care. You know what I mean? You are another person. That's all you are. Like, and that's just how it is. Like, I treat everybody that way. So, like, I know that you can see how they get aggravated when, like, people are fanning over them and shit like that. So, I mean, like, just you treat people like people, like, you'll be welcome. You know what I mean? Like, don't treat them like something different. They don't want that. Like, I completely get it. It's just whatever. But yeah, no, me and him smoked down and shit, and that's how we first met. Was just sitting there smoking. Um, let's see here. What narco story? Okay, so we were in I think it was in Tampa, in Florida, nonetheless. It was after a show, and we're like, there was a celebrity fighter there, and we're like, let's go to the strip club. Like let's go to the strip club. So like there was this one that was it had a UFO on top of it. I can't remember what it's called, like oh this world or something, I don't know. But anyway, it had like a UFO on top of it. It was like a space themed strip club. And we go there, and like my girlfriend knew the DJ, and there was like maybe four of us, I think, all together, four or five of us. And the one guy was like celebrity, you know what I mean? And we're sitting there. It was BYOB. You had to like bring your own alcohol, and we only had a little bit. Like we only had like I think like a case with us or something like that, and we just kind of like set it out. We set it outside by the bouncer, and the bouncer watched it for us. You know what I mean? So we went out, had our drinks, came back in because yeah, from what it was, we couldn't bring. It had to be in a cup, I think is what it was. So like we go out there and drink, come back in. We might pour a drink in a cup, bring it in with us or whatever. Like, and we're partying, and we go, we run out of alcohol. So I go up and I talk to the DJ, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, we are out of alcohol. Like, what the hell? Like, where do we get alcohol? Mind you, it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, like in Florida, and like they were stopping selling alcohol like anywhere. So I talked to the DJ, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, need more alcohol. Like, where do I get alcohol? So he's like, all right. He's like, go ahead out there, describe the guy to me. He's like, go talk to him and tell him you need to go. You need to talk to Sam, whatever the guy's name was. I couldn't remember. So I'm like, I go and tell him like I need to talk to Sam, blah blah. He's like, all right, 1 second. He gets on the phone. He calls this dude, and he's like, go over there by that entrance and wait. He'll pull up. And I'm like, okay, like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, what the hell? So I wait, and dude pulls up in this black car, and it was an Indian dude, and like he barely spoke English at all. And he's like, how much you want? How much you want? And I'm like, bro, I'm like, give me like, like $60 or whatever. I'm like, give me like $60, whatever you got for $60. And he took a thing of Everclear and filled up like a huge Dasani bottle with Everclear. So I go ahead, like I just bought $60 worth of bootleg alcohol after hours in a parking lot of a strip club in Florida. So I go and I go ahead and I tell people we get all our drinks, we pour all our drinks up and stuff. And celebrity friend there, he's like, he's not really drinking. You know what I mean? He's like not really drinking. We're busting through our drinks, and we get done, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, go ahead and give me your drink. And he's like, I can't. And I'm like, why? He's like, because I drank it. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, for a guy that like never drinks, you know what I mean? he drank it. He was trash. We're sitting there, and it was the most wild shit because I mean, I knew it had to be the girl I was with because she knew the DJ and all that. But we're sitting there, and we're at like the table like on beside the stage, and DJ's like, everybody's like, Terry's in the say my last name and everything. Terry's in the house tonight. Say hey, and then everyone just starts fucking freaking out. Like everyone starts yelling my name and shit. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, I have no clue what the hell is going on. So I'm sitting there and I'm with the celebrity dude, and strippers are coming up to me. Like they just keep on coming up to me one after another, one after another. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, hit on him. I'm like, he's famous. Hit on him. And I keep on sending strippers to him, and he's like, dude, he's like, why do you keep on sending the strippers to me? I'm like, because they just like keep on coming to me for some reason, and I don't want them, because I'm not gonna go and spend money on a lap dance and shit. I got a, woman with me and everything else. I don't need none of that. But anyway, I just kept on like pushing on him, and yeah, it was a weird, wild night. It was fun though. Let's see what else. I don't know. When I travel, like I only ever fought once. I trained for like, I don't know, better part of a year, but like I've only ever fought once. it didn't go so well. I'm a better trader than a fighter. There's a video out there somewhere. Like I shouldn't say I only fought once. I fought multiple times. Only fought once, like sanctioned, like stuff, like like professional. Well, not even professionally amateur, but like like an actual event. But yeah, no, the lights and shit. Like they turned it on. Like I was going good. Man, I had awesome trainers and everything. Like top people in my state. And like you get in, and like they lock the door, they lock the cage, they put the pin in it, and like all these lights are on you, and everyone's screaming and yelling your name and shit, but you can't see, like you can't see no one out there. And I just went like straight tunnel vision, like I froze, and I went through like 3 rounds of just straight getting blasted. I cut his forehead open a little bit, and I broke his leg, but it was from him kicking me. I broke his leg, but I ended up with a broken nose, which is a good story too. Broken nose, broken rib, and a broken jaw. I don't like going to hospitals. I heal myself. I don't do hospitals, police stations, and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, that was my one fight by my one actual televised whatever fight. I had like BKFC, some people that I was talking to. It was the Gonzala, Bigfoot Gonzaga, or Gonzaga, or whatever the fuck you call him, and another fighter, his coach from down in Brazil, was wanting me to go ahead and fight BKFC because he seen my fight. He's like, you can take a punch like no one else. I'm like, all right, don't really. I make more money than that. I make more money than what I get paid to fight there, so I didn't really care to. Um, but where the hell was I going with this now? Oh, so yeah, the broken nose story. All right, so I go ahead and have my fight. I get my injuries and shit. And next week, my girlfriend has to fight. And so we go ahead, and I can't breathe out my nose. Like for a week, I can't breathe out my nose. We go down to her fight, and I told her, I'm like, I'll bring you out for lobster, steak, whatever the hell it was. Win or lose, I'll take you out. And so we go down, and it's after her fight. Day after her fight, maybe it's the night after that night even. Oh, there's a couple funny stories about this one. Anyways, so we go out and we're at this really fancy restaurant, and I'm like, I can't breathe. I'm like, I can't breathe out my nose. I'm like, this is driving me crazy. I cannot breathe out my nose. And she's like, it didn't heal right. Like, she's a cut woman. She knew like what to do with stuff, but I don't know. Apparently, didn't do it. I have no clue. She's like, it didn't heal right then. She's like, you gotta re-break it, and you gotta go ahead and like get it fixed so like heals right. So I'm like, man, it's driving me crazy. I'm like, how do you re-break it? Will you break my nose for me? And she's like, no, I'm not gonna break it for you. She's like, normally a doctor does it. And I'm like, but I need to do it. And she's like, go ahead and watch a YouTube video. So I watch a YouTube video on how to like break and set your nose. And I like show it to her, and she's like, yeah, that's how you do it. I'm like, all right, sweet. So I'm sitting there in this fancy steak restaurant, my nose like stuff, like I couldn't breathe for a while. And I'm like feeling up there, and I'm like, okay, found out where the break is, and I'm like, and I broke it, and when I broke it, it just went like all this pressure released, and she freaks out. She like almost pukes, gets up, goes to the bathroom, like comes back, and she's like, I can't believe you just did that here, this and that. I'm like, oh my god, I feel so good though. Like I was definitely slightly intoxicated. But yeah, I broke my nose, and then went back and I was live streaming and stuff. And that is the night that I tried to break up a hooker fight, and then I climbed a 2-story palm tree, wearing just shoes and boxer shorts, just my compression shorts and shoes. That was kind of fun. I actually got turned into a meme. I got turned into a meme in the fight industry for a while. There was because I might have been on some things, like some portabella type of things, and the meme was something like, I know you've been high, but have you been Terry on Portabella's high? And it was me in a palm tree, like looking up. And for like a year or two, like I had people that would come up to me at fights, and they'd be like, is that you in that meme? Is that you in the meme? And I'm like, yeah, that's me, type of thing. But anyway, I don't know, I traveled around, did all kinds of fun stuff. I promoted events whenever I went for them. Like I'd live stream some stuff. I'd be like, hey, if you're in the Detroit area, definitely make sure you come down here, hang out with me type of thing. I had some friends who were like, you can be like the next Joe Rogan type of thing, and I was like, I'd travel, like I go to like, I brought my daughter down to Orlando. We were in Orlando for a BKFC match because like my daughter never went traveling or anything like that, and like I was, going through separation stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, I'll bring you down to Florida. Let's go to Florida. I was traveling, like I was never home. Like I was never home. I was just traveling all the time. So I'm like, I'll bring you to Florida. I'll bring you to a BKFC event. You can go ahead and we'll sit cage side and do some stuff. We'll go ahead and have some fun. And where the hell am I going with this again? Oh, she's on one of BKFC things yelling 'cause she wanted Tom to win, and I think Julian Lane won. Julian's a cool person too, but Julian Lane won. And she was yelling at him. Oh man, where was I going with this story though? Oh yeah, okay, that's where I was going. So we was down in Orlando, and we're at a fight, and I had another promotion. Like this happened to me quite a few times, but this one was kind of like weird because I never talked to this promoter before anything. But I was like down there, and we're at a fight, and I'm like doing my thing. I'm screaming, like doing the backstage stuff, all that, and like I'm getting these messages from like this promoter. They're like, "Hey, I seen that you're in Orlando. Can you come down to whatever it was, like Pensacola or someplace? We're having a fight tonight, and I want you to, or we're having a fight tomorrow night. Can you come down here? I want you to come, hang out." And I'm like, it was like a couple hour drive though. Like, wasn't really too feasible for me. I don't think it was even Pensacola. It was somewhere else though. But anyway, they're like, come down. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I got my daughter with me. And they're like, no problem. Bring your daughter with you. I'm like, okay. I'm like, but how this works is I just walk around. I do whatever I want. Like, I, yeah, I just do whatever I want. Like, you don't stop me from anything. And they're like, fine, just come here and do whatever, type of thing. Like, I would get like, I had at least 5, 10 invitations like that. That would be like, I just be in an area and they'd be like, hey, come to our fight. Do whatever you want. Come hang out. Like, I don't know. It was crazy. It was fun. Like, I would just, yeah, I'd just be like live streaming with celebrities and fighters and all kinds of other stuff. It was fun, but like a lot of things, COVID messed it up. Everything was going cool. COVID, like that year of lockdown, like at least here we had like a year of lockdown, really messed things up. Like I actually traveled a lot during COVID. Like when just before it got announced and everything shut down, I was in New Orleans. It was in it was actually at Mardi Gras, and that was the first time I got COVID. When I came back and I was really sick, and then they announced that. I'm like, okay, well, I had COVID, all right. And it was when I started. I was doing crypto at the time too. I was doing crypto at the time, and I was doing good. And flights and stuff were like dirt cheap. Things were crazy cheap. And the girl I was with, I actually just got with a new girl at that time, just after I got back from New Orleans. Um, the girl I was with, I'm like, let's go on a trip. I'm like, let's go Key West. Like, it's shit's cheap right now. Like, let's just balance out. So we took some crypto, like paid for everything, that way, and flew down to Key West for like a week. Hung out down there during COVID. Like, it was awesome. It was nice. It was like it was cheaper than it normally is. You know what I mean? We just like hung out at the ocean, walked around, partied because like they weren't closed down. Like they'd have you put a mask on, but sure, go ahead, go to the bar. So like we partied down in Key West for a chunk. But yeah, no, COVID kind of messed a lot of shit up. Like it messed the fight industry up. I was actually supposed to be going to, what was it, Tennessee or somewhere? I can't remember. I had my flight and everything. Like I was ready, and they announced COVID the day before my flight, and they're like, everything's closed down, don't no contact with people, this and that, and I'm like, man, like this doesn't sound good. Like I probably shouldn't go on that flight. You know what I mean? So I stayed home. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go. So I stay home, and like next thing, like I stay home, and then the next day, the day after, I would have flown down there. They closed everything down. They canceled the event. And like all my friends were like, they closed down the airport and everything. So all my friends were like stuck down there. They're like from Florida, from Vegas, and all over the place. And they're all like, they're like, we're stuck here. Like, they're like, they just sat there and partied for like a day or two, and they ended up having to get like rental vehicles and drive home and stuff. So like, I was kind of glad I didn't go to that one. But yeah, at the same rate, I didn't know that the one before that was going to be my last one. So either way. Yeah, no, I had good times. I got a lot of different fight stories and stuff. I just don't want to bring up people's names. I'm not trying to like, get anyone pissed at me by any means. I'll try to drop some pictures and stuff in this video. But I don't know. As with all my stuff, none of this financial advice. Don't do what I do. Learn from my mistakes, stuff like that. Um, Make sure you go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, drop something down below. Tell me about one of your cool stories. You know what I mean? Tell me about one of the places you went, one of the cool things you did. Let's get to know each other. Drop us a comment, and yeah, I guess that's it, hey? Deuces, Crypto fam. See you in the next video. I'm doing this a lot, apparently.